What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. This video, I want to give you guys my thoughts about this Star Wars theory that showed up on the Lore Star channel. The title of the video is Filoni already proved the sequels are in an alternate reality. So this is basically a Star Wars theory like many others that I've seen over the last 2 years. And these theories all basically deal with the world between worlds, explaining the events that we saw in The Rise of Skywalker that started with people speculating on how Palpatine might still be alive in The Rise of Skywalker. Those theories started popping up 2 years ago. And then we go to last summer where Doomcock decided to tell people that the world between worlds would be used to retcon the sequel saga. In this case, we've got another variation of that because, you know, old theories never die, where we're still using the world between worlds story as a way to say, no, it's not going to retcon it. These are alternate realities. We've created a multiverse. So I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the whole thing. Now, real quick, I just want to let you guys know about this 12-week superhero test group that I'm putting together. The whole purpose of this program is to get people strong, lean, and athletic, like Captain America, Spider-Man, Nightwing, that sort of thing. So if you're interested, look, tell me more in the comments. I'll shoot you a link to this form to fill out so that we can get this test group together and get up and running in the next week or so. And after that, anybody else who comes in, they'll just have to pay full price. So, you know, the early bird gets the worm. All right. But like I said, with this particular fan theory, the big thing hinges on Ahsoka Tano. That is what it all really hinges on. Basically, you've got an alternate reality where Ezra saved Ahsoka Tano in the world between worlds, and then one where she didn't. It's basically saying that if we looked at the Star Wars movies, the way that everything would have played out in the movies is that, you know, we saw everything or the prequels, the original saga, and then the sequel saga, Ahsoka's dead, right? And then we've got this new reality that the Mandalorian, the Filoniverse, the Disney Plus shows are gonna carry out this new reality where Ahsoka lived in that reality, starting with the Clone Wars, starting with Rebels where Ezra saves her, and then the Mandalorian. And so what he's saying is if Ahsoka had never sent the Mandalorian to Tython, things would have played out differently as far as the Empire capturing Grogu and using his blood to make Snoke clones, right? In the sequel saga, Ahsoka dies, and like I'm kind of getting confused because in my mind, like I've already debunked it, and so it's like it's hard for me to explain the theory when I was listening to it, and I was like, well, I'm waiting for you to say this one particular thing. And if you don't say it, then I've already debunked it. And that's the case. So, you know, I'm showing you guys the video here. If you want the full explanation, you just need to go watch the video because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and explain it. You know, he did 12-minute long video when I can already tell you, you know, the issue, right? So, I mean, the big thing is he's saying that Ahsoka died. Ezra Bridger never saved Ahsoka in the world between worlds. She's dead, and that's it. The problem is, like I said, I had already debunked it. You guys know in The Rise of Skywalker, Ahsoka was one of the voices that speaks with Rey, and I don't know the name of the guy who runs Dash's channel now. In the novelization, well, you guys can't see it because of the light, but I'm looking at the novelization from The Rise of Skywalker. And so we have Bring Back the Balance, Rey. In the Night, Find the Light, Rey. Those are Jedi who are speaking to Rey when she reaches out and connects to all of the Jedi. And then it goes on to say, presences filled her awareness, some recent, some ancient, some still anchored to the living in a strange way. Rey didn't understand, but she accepted, right? Go back to this line. Presences filled her awareness. Those are the past Jedi. all of the Jedi. Not, I shouldn't say past, all of the Jedi. Some recent, some ancient, some still anchored to the living in a strange way. That kind of implies that some of these people connected to her are not dead. They're anchored to the living in a way that she doesn't understand. I'm going to give you exhibit number 2, or maybe exhibit number 1. Right. So after the Rise of Skywalker, everybody's talking about, oh, well, we heard Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka spoke to Rey, Ahsoka's dead. And Dave Filoni made this drawing of Ahsoka with Gandalf. And Gandalf says, people thought I was dead too. Look how that turned out. And he was basically kind of saying, you know, don't believe everything that you see in the movie. Don't immediately jump to conclusions, right? We got this drawing of Ahsoka the White, right? Now, when we see her in The Mandalorian, she's Ahsoka the Gray. We see her in the Rebels, she's Ahsoka the Gray. But at the conclusion of Rebels, she is Ahsoka the White. And we have not yet seen that transition to Ahsoka the White. Now, on top of that, we've got the Ahsoka Tano spinoff show that's coming. We see Ahsoka Tano. And people are immediately jumping to, oh, look at all of this. It's like the world between worlds. And I'm saying, well, I think it's the world between worlds. But what is that linked to? That is linked to Mortis, the Mortis gods. And we know that Ahsoka has this connection to Moray. Moray is like a spirit totem, a spirit animal or something that's connected to the daughter of Mortis. So real quick, before I finish that thought that I had started, I'm going to read you something that Dave Filoni actually said on the subject of Ahsoka being dead in The Rise of Skywalker. So this quote says, it doesn't really have any big implications to what I'm doing with the character, to be honest. I just thought it was a really fun thing. I thought J.J. Abrams' instinct to be so inclusive with all these various elements of Star Wars and characters was great. And I thought it would be a great thing for the actors involved to be a part of something that was just really this celebrating moment of the Star Wars saga. So I didn't think of it in a literal story way. The film to me is like a different era, right? So Dave Filoni's basically saying don't look too deep into it. He goes on to add that I have to wonder with Star Wars fans, they seem to watch the movies, but they don't take all the lessons. They deal a lot in absolutes, which is very much a Sith thing. I remember in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke speaking out through the Force to Leia. Vader also does this at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. There's no absoluteness that these people are dead. I mean, some of them we know are dead, right? And he's talking about some of the people, some of the voices that Rey hears. We know that they are dead. We've seen them. But just because someone reaches out through the Force and speaks to someone the way we saw that happen in that scene doesn't mean that they're dead. And now that we have the High Republic books, Avar Kriss, we see that that's like her special power is that she can connect to all of the Jedi, right? So if anything, the Rise of Skywalker has done something that I kept saying this is what Star Wars needs to do, and that's use the present to set up the past, to tell stories about the future, right? So the Rise of Skywalker made a lot of stuff, introduced a lot of stuff from legends into canon, like Revan and all these other dark lords of the Sith, right? And now these did the idea of a dyad and explaining what the true meaning of the rule of two is for the Sith is that the master and apprentice want to unlock the full powers of the dark side by becoming a dyad in the Force, and basically, like, you know, for video game speak, they unlock all of the Force abilities, right? They can do just all kinds of crazy stuff through the Force. Now that we have, the High Republic, and we're seeing that, these Jedi Masters are much more powerful than the Jedi that we've seen in the movies and in everything else so far, because it was a time of peace where they could just sit around and explore and experiment with all kinds of ways of using the Force that may have, for whatever reason, Yoda and the other Jedi Masters on the High Council may have said, all right, these practices are now forbidden because of something that could happen in the High Republic. But getting back to Avar Kriss, she could reach out and at first it was the Jedi just in that part of space that were dealing with that particular, the stuff going on with the Tabana gas about to be exploded in the sun, and it, the sun, it would swell the sun and destroy that whole system. So she was interacting with the other Jedi that were in that local part of space, but then she reached all the way to Coruscant and beyond, right? So that's basically what Rey did. Now, there's this whole other thing about how the world between worlds really deals with the things, ideas from the occult. Really, Western mystics of the past have talked about this idea. I could go deeper into that, but I'm not for this video. That would need to be its own separate video. Getting back to something that I mentioned, and this is where I'm going to end, about the Ahsoka Tano series, is that's why I mentioned the occult, is I think that the Ahsoka Tano series could deal with those elements. Like I said, Ahsoka's got a connection to the Mortis gods, and I believe that the Ahsoka Tano series is going to deal with the transition of Ahsoka the Gray to Ahsoka the White. So is there an alternate reality where Ahsoka died and it's no? It's just one story. We don't have all the details in the story. I appreciate the fact that that Lore Star kind of acknowledged the same thing that I did when I said these are the reasons why Luke isn't going to train Grogu, and people were quick to jump on it. But I'm like, well, look at the story that we had presented, that Luke didn't have an apprentice at all between Leia and the maybe 10 or 11 year gap that he had Ben Solo, right? Start training Ben Solo. He's an adolescent, almost a preteen, right? He has no apprentice. So where's Grogu then? Where's Grogu when Luke finally takes on Ben and then builds his training temple after he finds the hidden library that Jocasta Nu left behind? Because after that, then Luke was like, all right, I'm ready to take on other students. I've got, my own little Jedi library, my own little stash of information, right? I think he might have actually found that before he took on Ben, because he mentions it in the when they find that outpost, that dates back to the High Republic in Avar Kriss's holocron, right? And all I'm going to say is it doesn't necessarily have to be an alternate reality. We still don't know how things turn off. All we turn up as far as Luke and Grogu, all we see is that Luke comes in, rescues Grogu from Moff Gideon and the Dark Troopers, right? He sets off and he says that, Grogu Grogu needs to find balance, right? He needs to lose his fear, right? And I'm going to teach him, to keep him from falling to the dark side or whatever, right? Because we've already seen him force choking stormtroopers, and he force choked Cara Dune, and he's got this deep connection to Din Djarin. Maybe Luke never takes Grogu on as an apprentice, right? Maybe he teaches him, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to let, just like with Leia, it's like, I'm going to teach you something, and then I'm going to send you on your way. I'm going to take you back. Or I'm going to reach out and talk to Yoda and ask Yoda, what do we do with this kid? And, and Yoda gives me some guidance. We don't know what the full story is there. So, uncertain the future is, right? So, but as far as this theory, hey man, shout out to Martin. Martin, I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it Fightinger? But shout out to Martin for sending me this a few hours ago. I just happened to be up early and hopped up and took a look at it, and that's my chat. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that there's an alternate reality situation? We're setting up a multiverse in Star Wars, one where Ahsoka dies, and that's going to be the movies, and then we've got this other alternate reality, the Filoniverse, where Ahsoka lives, and and now we've got this crazy situation where we've got two different timelines that we've got to tell stories on. Or do you just think that, because that sounds too much like what Disney and Lucasfilm do not want, right? When they came in, they were like, we got these different levels of canon. We've got the extended universe, expanded universe, and then the video game verse and everything else. And all we want at this point is just the George Lucas canon, the A canon, and we're going to expand that. If that was the whole idea, and we separate the George Lucas canon and Legends, right, then why would you then introduce this idea of alternate realities, alternate timelines? But that's my dime. I'm gonna shut up now and leave this up to you guys. Hey man, don't forget 12-week superhero. Hey man, if you're trying to get fit like Captain America, tell me more in the comments. I'll send you a link to the form, and I get in touch with you so we can get this party jumping. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.